Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fashion Bunker. I have been asked several times, how do I store the chain of my Chanel bags? So let's get right to it. I'm not going to show you this crazy packaging with each and one of the bags. I'm just going to show it with the first one to showcase to you how I more or less keep my bags protected when I don't use them. They always stand. And this one in particular is the Jumbo. And I've been moving the chain, so darn. Anyway, the chain of the Jumbo is, I store it to the front. And usually layers and layers and layers and layers of stuff are in there. So let's take it out of its plastic foliage. Okay. And then I have the original fillings that were in the bag. I keep them outside of the bag to keep it safe. Now this is a denim, so it's a very, very fragile, delicate material, and I don't want any dents or anything happening in it. So the more padding and layering, this is, you know, another Chanel bag that came with it, like a pouch. My essay gave me this one as well. So I have all of these layers. With the Jumbo, I do not place, because this chain is super, super long. I don't put it on the side. Well, you'll see with my other bags. Anyway, this one in particular, it's a single flap. So this is also how I store it inside. I have an extra little pillow to keep it padded and protected so it doesn't lose its shape. This is a single flap. So we have an issue with, because it's made in fabric, on the side it has this kind of ring or hook to keep it in place, the chain. I don't like to pull this chain in. I keep it out, but however, I pad the bag from the outside to protect it. So I add all of these layers, and then on top of the layers comes the chain. Now, since the chain is longer than the bag, you see, when you store the bag standing up straight, the chain might go under the bag and then squish the bag from underneath. You don't want that to happen. So I add the extra layers, as many layers as possible. So I add this layer as well to kind of like keep the chain in place. However, when I put it in its plastic bag again, I pay extra attention to lift this even more and just give it a little bit more buffer or something to not let it get squished by the bag itself. So that's a particular case of this seasonal denim bottle embroidered Jumbo bag, but this is not the case with the other bags. Now let's get to the other bags that are more classic. Okay, so now the next one, actually, well, this is also not a classic. It's another seasonal bag, but it's a small one, similar to the wallet on chain. In this case, because this has a very, very long chain, let me show you how this one works. First of all, this is lambskin leather, so it's very, very, very soft here, and I protect it with the microfiber glove that comes with it. I would kind of leave it there so that this edge and corner does not scratch my leather here. And then I have a second glove, second Chanel Care glove, there you have it. They gave me two. I asked for a second one because I store my chain inside of this pouch. So the glove becomes a chain storage pouch, basically. So as you can see, this is a particular type of Chanel bag and chain. It's one of the last made in Italy lambskin leathers that have that sheer and shine that we know from the 90s. This one is from 2013, however. This is a particular type of chain because it's stored on the outside. It has its leather tubular kind of container going on there, so the chain runs through it. So I open it, flip the chain to the front, and I put it in its little pouch like that. It's kind of hard to do it with gloves. I'm trying to be very, very precise and clean here because I want to protect these beautiful art pieces. And then I store it in the bag so that the chain does not scratch this beautiful burgundy leather inside of the bag, because the bag is leather on the inside, as you can see. And then we seal it off, close it, and that's how I store the chain in this case, and then I put it back in its little pouch. All right, now moving on to the next bag. This is another seasonal bag, but it's a medium size. It's very close to the classic. This is a chevron from the Cruise 2016 Seoul collection. Now we're getting to an interesting point. In this case, I use the microfiber glove on top of the bag because I don't want the chain, and especially because the chain has this little tiny charm, which is the Chanel logo hanging off of it. I don't want this I don't want this metal piece to in any way, let me take this off, kind of if I store the bag and I don't wear it for a week or two, I don't want this little bit to kind of tarnish my leather wherever it may lay. So if it lays here or there for a longer period of time, I don't want that metal to affect in any way my leather. That's why this particular chain is stored in this way on this bag. As you can see, you're going to see throughout the video, each one of my bags has a different kind of, I use a different technique to store each one of my bags. So let me put the chain in. So you see, you move it a little bit to the front, and basically when I store it, I have both the chains with their metal and the charm never touching the leather. Now, the inside of the bag, this is the first case where we go to this. I also have the original little felt thingy so that the flap is protected. Now, this is an interesting point here. I pull the chain in. This is how they would do it in the boutiques. So you can see, we pull the chain there. Let me take this out so it's clear. And we pull it, and then we have it in here. And then the entire length of this chain goes inside of the bag. Now I have stuffed this bag with the bag's original, Chanel dust bag, and inside of it I have like air balloon pillows that then stuff the bag so it keeps its shape, and on top of it I place the chain softly or delicately, and then this little piece goes underneath there. So that would be how I'd store the chain of the seasonal Chevron Cruise Seoul bag. Moving on to the next bag. Now we have a classic. This is the wallet on chain in caviar leather. This is its original pouch. Then I have its little protection felt here. When I store it, I don't click this in. I leave it open because I don't want any pressure. I try to avoid as much as I can this zipper bit here. You see, already in the felt, it's giving me pressure, and I just want to avoid it pressuring here as much as possible. Anyway, again, how we store the chain here. Same story as the seasonal Fall/Winter 13 extra mini Chanel bag. I store the chain in its microfiber pouch. Not in its, I use the microfiber pouch, which can also be a glove to buff the leather. I insert the chain inside of this pouch, you see, and it's a very long chain. The wallet on chain is a very, it's a huge chain. This is a crossbody type of small leather good or bag. So I store it in this, basically because the wallet on chain in particular has a very delicate interior. It has this kind of silky, fabricy material and leather on this side. So you want to be very careful. That's how I store it, at least. I don't want the chain to rub against the walls of the bag in any sort of way. I just want to avoid it as much as possible from deteriorating, that the chain actually kind of damages the bag itself. So that's why I store the wallet on chain that way. Moving on to a very special little bag. This is my prized possession. I love this baby. This one, now I store it always this way because this is jersey. This is Chanel jersey. This is a very, very delicate material. So I have the original tissue paper it was wrapped in, and I wrap it around the chain so that it doesn't pressure. You see, so this paper functions as a sort of amortization or a sort of a buffer or a sort of a little pillow in between the chain and the actual bag. because the chain is also in jersey and metal. So in this case, because we don't have 4 rings but just 2 rings, the chain is attached via leather hinges or hooks or little loops on the 2 sides of the bag, there and there. You could see. So what I do is, on one side of the bag, I pull the chain through, and then we go in here. So you could see how long this chain is. The entire length of the chain is basically pulled through this one hole. And then, this is also how the Chanel boutique would store it. I have Chanel tissue paper on the inside. I round it as a sort of a loop or a circle so that the chain is placed right in the middle. Let me show you how that looks like. Very delicately, don't press it in or push it in, because don't forget, you know, the small square, the mini square Chanel bag is a classic. It has leather on the inside. This bag is totally lined on the inside with black leather. It's a gorgeous shiny leather, and I do not want to scratch it with the chain. So that's why I place its original tissue paper around, and then in between I would put the chain. So then you close the bag. This is a very pale gold hardware, and that's how we store this one. So I'm going to set it all after I'm finished with the video, because I don't want to waste time showing you guys how I do this. Okay, this is the Timeless Classic Small. Now this is also a beautiful bag. It took me ages to hunt it down. In this case, I keep the chain there in this upper pouch, as you know, the Chanel design team thought it to be used for. So this little pouch is actually for the chain, and then I kind of delicately place the chain on top of the bag. Furthermore, I've asked for extra microfiber gloves. So I have one here, and I have one there as well. Why? This is a special. There's a special reason. This one, I position it here. Why? Because the back pocket, you see, I kind of just slip it a little bit into the back pocket, because the back pocket is lined with leather, with the gorgeous burgundy Chanel leather. And this leather, in some bags, if they're, you know, standing archived for too long a time, it might stick to the caviar leather. So to avoid that, to avoid it from ripping or sticking, or for whatever reason it might happen from humidity or whatever, I kind of just slip this microfiber glove delicately, not all the way through, just a little bit to the top. I slip it in there to have a separation between the pocket and the leather, and then it's up here so that it also keeps all of this matelassé leather clean and safe. And then I add this little bit to keep, you know, all my gold hardware and all the padding extra protected. Then we have another layer, which is this one. That's like already the 3rd layer, because let's not forget, this glove has 2 layers. This is then the 3rd layer. Then I put the chain in here, creating my 4th layer that then goes over the bag. Now we have 4 layers between the chain and the actual bag, and that protects my leather very, very, very well. Then when I always store my bags upright. I have to tuck a little, pull this chain up, because again, I don't want this chain to go underneath the bag. You know, I don't want to risk it. Now that's how we store the small Chanel Timeless Classic bag with gold hardware in caviar leather. Moving on to the bag that represents all Chanel bags. Guess what bag this is? I think you've guessed right. For those of you who follow me know already what bag it is. This is the reissue 255 bag, the mother of all bags. This to me is the quintessential bag. There is no other bag in this world. Nothing tops this one. This one, I store it simply like that. You see the chain in this case is not in a top pouch. This is de-stressed calfskin leather with ruthenium, kind of silvery hardware. I have its original felt to protect it. And again here, extra felt because, and then I fold it at the side there to create a double layer. I do this for a reason, so that this zipper doesn't dent my upper flap. I'm obsessed with the zipper not denting the upper flap. Anyway, but just for the occasion, this is a double flap. So we have 1, 2, and this is how I store my chain in this bag. So we have the same situation as we had with the 2016 Cruise Seoul collection bag in chevron, which is made in de-stressed lambskin leather, contrary to popular belief, because a lot of people think that the chevron from the Cruise collection is calfskin. It's not, it's lambskin. This, however, is de-stressed calfskin leather. So we pull the chain, we pull it through, pull it there, and then again up here we pull it out completely, then we fold this fold open, and I place the chain inside. Now, inside of the bag, you see I also have tissue paper. This was the original tissue paper that was given to me as I purchased the bag, and this is how the SA actually wrapped it for me. That's how they store their bags as well before somebody purchases them. And then you can add this little felt bit, which I love adding because it just adds more protection to the leather. I always pay attention to flip this zip inwards before I close the bag. And there. Now, you see when you close the bag, the chain kind of sags a little. That's fine. You could just pull it and then flip it, and then here you just kind of twirl it in a little. There you go. And now it's all tight and snugly fit. Now, you might ask yourself, why don't I have an extra protection layer here on this bag? That's because this leather is way more resistant than lambskin or caviar for that matter. The puffs aren't that puffy. The bag is made already to be less puffy. And this sort of chain, once you pull it in, it kind of falls into place, and it doesn't really, I don't have the feeling that it puts any pressure on the bag. However, I don't know, now that I think of it, I might, just because I'm obsessing with protection, I might add another extra microfiber glove underneath the chain here just to add that extra layer of protection. But other than that, this one is perhaps the easiest one also to store and the friendliest one to use because this bag is meant to be worn. It's meant to have that heavy-duty usage. Now, what is very interesting to see, why did I say this is a quintessential bag? You know, I've been having conversations about this bag, you know, the reissue to 55 compared to the Birkin or the Kelly. You know why I prefer this one to the Kelly? Simply because this one, when Chanel decided to launch the bag and release it to the world, she already had it set in place. She already formulated the design, created the design, made it what it was, and then in February 1955, she released the bag to the world officially. The Kelly was not the Kelly originally. The Kelly was not even really a bag to be worn. It was more in relationship to horse riding and stables. And then, slowly with time, it evolved into a bag for ladies or human beings. And after that, slowly changed its name to the Kelly bag, after Kelly made it even more famous. So there was a lot of evolution there. This one was what it was from day one to today. There has been almost no change in this bag from 1955 to today, except for the fact that I have it in leather, and Coco's first version was in jersey, but you can still buy the jersey version out there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have liked this video, and if you have, please do thumb it up. Let me know what you think in the description box down below, and let me know if you have any tips how you store your bags, your Chanel bags and your Chanel chains, also in the description box and in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel here on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Don't forget, guys, no matter how many chains are in your life, don't you ever give up on love. Love you. See you soon. Take care. Bye.